Good morning, folks. Welcome to episode 61 of Something More Than Gibberish. Today, I have the pleasure of featuring a local artist that I see quite regularly at open mic events. His name is Nico Lim, but better known as Flash Poetry. He mixes his work with a mix of poetry, which I've heard, and it's quite profound pieces that he writes. And also, he's an amazing freestyle rapper. One of the events I go to once a month, titled Ends of the Worst, that's where I first met Nico. They do a bracket of poetry, a bracket of the band getting up there, and people get up and freestyle rap, and then another bracket of poetry, and again with the band, freestyle style rappers get up. And Nico, whenever he comes in, never ceases to amaze me. He puts his hand up, gets up there, he recites poetry, he smashes through some impromptu freestyling. So really looking forward to having Nico. He's in the room, so without any further ado, I'm going to bring him up. And hi, Tom. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the episode. Okay, Nico, bringing you up. Here he is. Hey, how are you, Nico?
Rainier, how you doing, man?
Good, mate. Good, good. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time coming, but here we are. Mate, I've just been saying to the people, to the listeners, you amazed me how you readily put up your hand and you get up there and somebody throws a word or somebody throws a line and you just start freestyling on that. That's pretty good thinking on your feet. And also the depth of your poetry as well. Your poetry comes from a pretty deep place, which is so looking forward to showcasing all about you and your work to the on this show, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, pleasure, mate. So tell me what got you down, how long have you been writing and what got you kicked off? What started you off?
Yeah, I think like most poets, I think we've been writing in some form since the day we could write. Definitely been an outlet for me, I'm sure you can resonate with this of just it felt like something. It's not something I wanted to do. It just kind of most of my life I just did it as a way to make sense of the experience that I was having.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think things really there was definitely a turning point, and it was quite a drastic shift. And it was the night I actually launched my poetry book. At the time, I was working as a copywriter and a librarian, just kind of in more in the professional world, and I decided to take 6 months off to write and finish writing my poetry book, which I'd collected poems for years and years and years. And basically, yeah, it took me 6 months to, do all the manuscript and get all the versions of the book and all the things that comes with publishing. And I launched the book. And on the night of my book launch, I think 120 people showed up to Black Spark, this bookstore in Northcote. And it was just received in this way. And I remember, I was supposed to give a speech that night to all these people, and at the time I had done no public speaking, and I was terrified. I was like hyperventilating in the room before going out, and I remember my friends being like, "Are you okay? Like, are you going to be able to do this?" And I was like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." I was deep breathing, and I went out, and everything, it was as if some power just came through me, and I was completely calm. I was charismatic. I gave this speech from my heart, and it felt so right. And it felt basically like I had found where I needed to be. And I went home that night, and I was lying under the stars after just the most, incredible night of my life. And launching a book like that took, about 3 years to write, it feels, it's almost like your funeral in some sense that you get to attend because everyone tells you what they really think about you to your face because of the gravity of the event. And so I just filled up with so much love and affirmation. And I just decided that night that this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the next morning, I literally just emailed all my clients and quit my jobs. I just quit all of them. I just said, hey, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't come back. I'm doing I'm doing poetry and music and whatever wherever this takes me full time, I have to try. So
So you still in that full-time journey on the writing and music?
yeah, yep. It's been probably almost maybe 3.5 years now
Yeah.
that I have, yeah, just been doing this full time. I've got a bit of a lyrical racket going on. I've got several things, as you mentioned, that I do that kind of allow me to make ends meet.
Well, firstly, I got to congratulate you on the strength and the inner strength and the belief as well, because it's a big decision to, we sort of are brought up with this sense of responsibility to our lives and, put
Mm.
on the table, a roof on our heads, etc., etc. And to take that plunge from what you were, from a paid job to follow your passions takes a lot of conviction in the mind, and admire you for that. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. It's yeah, I mean everything was telling me, especially when you're in a position where, as I say, society was for the first time ever just high-fiving me. I was earning good money. I had this nice title. I had like clients, and there was this sense of importance as to what I was doing. And there's this inertia that happens that really it kind of takes you. It wants you to be this thing that is laid out. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I was able to have a moment of clarity amidst that because yeah, my life would be very different, I think, if I hadn't have taken that plunge. And at the
Mhm.
time, it was really scary, but yeah, I'm lucky enough to have it have felt like something that was kind of undeniable. Like I couldn't, there was an energy to it, and I feel that about the freestyling, which I wasn't doing at the time, but the first time I freestyled to a live audience and improvised, I just knew that this was the thing that I needed to pursue because it was just in the room. I could feel people's hunger and people's just, they were captivated by something. And I felt in myself the first time I really improvised to an audience, there was just something undeniable. And all I can describe it as is just this feeling of, of pure energy, something scintillating inside me. And that, I guess, is what I've been following ever since.
Mate, always could not encourage anybody to. Life, it seems like many years as a child, but really it is a short passage in time.
Mm,
And in that time, we owe to ourselves to follow those passions. And I'm so glad to hear you do that. Now, you mentioned something before with your book launch. You were in the back room, hyperventilating there, having to come and address 120 people. And you hit something really key there. You came
mm,
out and suddenly everything disappeared and you spoke from the heart. Do you still?
mm.
Because I think that is vital.
Yeah, that's an interesting. It is. It's a very. I'm spending more and more time on stages now, and sometimes I have more rehearsed things to say. I've planned before. Oh, I'm going to say this little thing, and I'm noticing that I think really when you get on stage, there's material and then there's the moment.
Yeah,
And you can tell when someone's just dialing in material, and
yeah,
that's very tempting because you don't have to worry so much.
yeah.
Like I know what I'm going to say, but I'm learning, and this is something that I'm definitely a student at. I'm learning that there's material and you can use material if you know roughly what you're going to say, but the great performers and the great speakers and the people who are able to entrance you just by the realness of what they're saying, they are allowing this the they're allowing the space and the silence to be there so that they can actually attune themselves to the moment and the specific climate emotionally that's in the room at that very time. And it's, it is just being in the moment, feeling what you're feeling, feeling the transmission that's happening between you and the audience. And so, it's a great point you make. I really do. I try and remember that it's not about going up there and delivering a thing. It's also going up there and feeling exactly what you're saying, because that's almost more important than the word that you're saying is how you feel it when you say it.
Yeah, and I think that's important to not just to capture an audience, but to retain them many years later. I know
Mm,
I appreciate and respect and never forgotten. It's where people will bullet point the topics they want to cover or what the highlights they want to make, but
yeah,
those topics they speak from the heart, and those people are amazing. I recently, when I say recently, probably 3 months ago, through work, attended a event called Vietcetera. It's a community there trying to build the bridges between Australia and Vietnam with enterprises and working and trying to get a lot of expat Vietnamese to go back with their skills that who are born and grown up here to
yeah.
go back and bring their skills to build that gap. And this one lady spoke. She really covered everything, but she even touched on. She was one of the first generation born here, and her parents were one of the first ones who came after the Vietnam War in the 70s as refugees.
Yeah.
And those refugee camps that we had back in the 70s and late 70s, early 80s, even in New South Wales, were just literally like old hospitals or prison cells, whatever, just literally for them to be processed and set up. And this girl was born under a tree in one of those refugee camps. And she took us back to that story and what life was like here and growing up, and now what she can give back to this country and also take back to Vietnam and try and build those gaps. Man, she literally, there were tears. She had to pause for 30 seconds because there were tears rolling down her eyes. She actually went and visited the tree under which her mother gave birth to her. That's
Mm,
the kind of authenticity. And guess what? As long as I breathe oxygen, I'll never forget that lady and that presentation.
yeah, that's
Uh,
powerful.
the pieces, our learnings, our writings, our singing and all that, that's great, but always retaining that authenticity, I think is what's critical to me anyway, rightly or wrong.
Mm,
I don't care who ever end up or become, I will always be me.
yeah, and that's as an artist, that's the power, right?
Yeah.
That's almost what gives every artist their power. If you try and do something else or someone else, it's not gonna last, I think.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And I think if you can retain that authenticity, then that comes out in your poetry, that comes out in your music, not just what people want to hear or what's flavoursome out there or what's
Yeah.
vogue.
For sure. And it's hard. Like I think as artists, when we release whether it's a poem or a book or music, and it's received well, naturally, even if it was just something that we thought, this is not my usual style, but I'll put it out there. And then suddenly people are sharing it and liking it and listening. There's a strong reinforcing feedback loop saying, hey, do more of that.
Yeah,
And that's not always what you really want to be doing. It's
yeah,
kind of that's what everyone else wants you to do. And yeah, just trying to stay true to that is I think it's a constant, it's a perennial dance between the artist and the I guess the feedback that you
yeah.
get.
A good friend of mine and regular member of the audience on this show, Tom DeSaro, he's from Port Charlotte in Florida. As he put it rightly in the comments, it's been said that people remember how you made them feel. And
Mm,
in your music, there's this scintillating sort of energy that's undescribable, that connection, right? And it's how your music or your poetry made people feel.
mm.
That's what they remember, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling that, and I think I've realized that over the years with freestyling is there is something about the improvised nature, and it's very much I'm in immersing people in this experience. It's very engaging. It's involved. You know, it's a collaboration between everyone. I get words from people and make up the song on the spot. And there is something about the just the sheer liveness of it. And you know, I'm excited to do some freestyling for you today. But there is something about it that people it makes them feel alive, I think. And especially when I'm flowing, it makes them the kind of by osmosis, the quality of presence of flow that I am able to get into rubs off on people.
Mate, I'll never forget one of the, I think it was about the second or third time I saw you. We were at Open Studio and you were up there rapping, and this guy walks in and he had a bit of out there jacket, right? And then he got up as well, and you two on stage, and you started going off about his jacket and blah blah blah. And I'm going, how does this guy think on his feet, like, and stick to a rhythm? Like, I totally admire that in people because number one, if I start trying to sing, man, there'll be frogs coming in through the windows. I have to get out there and read poetry, but to think on your feet and make up lines, yeah, phenomenal. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, there's no, it's so much fun for me, and I'm blessed to have found this because it is kind of a special power that I have. It comes naturally to me to be able to, yeah.
Mate, happy for you to share either poetry or whatever you feel like. Remember, with this show, it's not about me. I'm just a vessel that just facilitates it. It's all about showcasing you and your work on a global platform. So you take the conversation wherever
Oh,
you go, you share what you feel like. It's all about you today, right?
thank you, Rainier. Well, look, we've been talking about freestyling, so let's give your beautiful audience a freestyle. And, you know, in the spirit of the freestyle, if there's anyone in the chat or who wants to drop any words, if you want to suggest any words, I'll do my best to string them in.
There you go, Tom Adays. Feel free to chuck any words that come to your mind on the chat.
So we'll use one. It's been said, people remember how you made them feel. That's a
Yep.
beautiful one. You can throw me one as well if you want, Rainier.
Oh, mate, I'm just fascinated. I'm just amazed. I'm just happy to, yeah. Tom Adays, if you think of any other words, throw it in the comments.
All right. Otherwise, I'll get cracking, and I'll just, it's early in the morning. Freedom. All right. You can hear the music, hey?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. All right. We got freedom. We got organic. Flash poetry live on something more than gibberish. So let's go. Okay. So we begin. Well, it's Saturday morning. Woke up and I heard the birds, they were calling. I said to myself, well, man, it's not game over. It's not the time to start. I hopped in my Corolla. I went down to the shops, grabbed a cup of coffee. Now I'm ready to rock. I say to myself, well, I'm here and I've got a bandage round my head, but I'm feeling like I might just practice instead and come on the podcast with my man Rainier here in Australia. Well, I've got to say I'm a simple human being singing my poetry for a sense of freedom. I want to know what it really means to believe. I want to be here and to simply be free. But we have got to ask ourselves in 2025, what does it mean to be free and alive? Well, it means to express yourself, to be yourself and nobody else. Because honestly, in life, well, you've got to be real. People only remember how you made them feel. And for that reason, well, we've got to spread our joy, spread it straight, then make that choice. Back and forth here, and just you know that I am doing it. Simply just running all around and I'm pursuing it. I'm feeling, well, I am feeling quite sprightly. Over here, yet with Rainier on the live stream, I've been looking around and I'm trying to do this. Either way it goes, I'ma move through this with the music. Well, I won't panic. Freestyle in the morning and my bars are organic. They're growing out my soul, man. They're growing out my brain and I'm going back and forward. It's making me feel like this is a game. And it's a beautiful trip. Well, I got to say, I got things to spit. Poetry hopefully is my thing for the rest of my life. I might just try and sing because I'm breathing. And yes, you know it's off my head. I'm here today. Rainier is wearing red and he's asking me these questions, these beautiful things. I hope that I can teach a couple lessons that I can just sing. that I can just shout, well, I am just here. What is life about? You know that I am here, and I might just say I'm going a little manic, but that's what you got to do as an organic being filled with freedom. And I am here, and I'm simply just reeling. And I got to say, well, I push this ceiling outward bound, and I am simply dreaming. And so we might say, well, you know that the potency comes from the heart. That's the art of poetry. Back and forth today, yes, you know that I'm a lyricist. Well, I got to say, this is really quite intimate. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm rocking with the flow. Yes, shout out, and he said, let's go. Back and forth today, yes, I hope I make you feel something real, cause you know I'm out here and I steal away into the night and try and just see what might lie beyond the horizon. Cause I'm here today and I'm in my environment, feeling out protection is a requirement that we must invoke, that we must choose here today, and I hope you're amused. Thank you very much. Someone started following me. I'm here right now and I'm hobbling lyrically. And I feel, well, life is spiritually unfolding before my eyes. I see it right there and I'm looking all around, and there are many people who make me so inspired. The other poets out here in this community, I'm kicking all these bars and I'm feeling like it is suitably exactly what it needs to be. I swear myself, destiny is telling me to just follow the energy we're talking about. That is the presence. You feel it in your soul, man. That is the essence. You've got it right there. Yes, you know you send the message, and really in this life, you've got to be authentic. And man, I don't want to take sides, but it's the artist against AI, and they are fighting off, and we are trying to find a place right there, but I'm feeling stage fright, and so I just connect with my heart. It's not about the lyrics, man. It's not about the bars. It's not about anything. Nothing is real. There's only really just what you feel, and so I sing it out. I sing it from my spirit. I sing it out there with a couple of lyrics, and I am here just a rapper and a poet from Australia, so I gotta give a shout out to Rainier. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh man, a couple of words thrown in there, man, and um, to the audience, I've got to say, when I hear the guy at the ends of the verse once a month with the full band happening, it's phenomenal. Like, and he get up there and just make stuff up. It is. That's probably one of my favourite events to go to. I go to many open mic events, but like going to that because that mix of the freestyle rapping music and then the poetry is a great evening.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And man, it's so much fun. I started my own. I was inspired by that exact. I read your mind. I was inspired by that evening, and I've started my own poetry night. It's actually just an open mic jam night, and it's every kind of performance mixed with freestyle rap. It's like happening next Thursday on the 23rd. If you're free, love to have you.
Yeah, mate. Now that's at Transcendence, correct?
That's correct.
I saw that, and I've got to still get to Transcendence, folks. To the people in the room, Transcendence, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nico. It's a couple of old train carriages, correct?
Yeah.
Elevated way above rooftop, and the train carriages, these old carriages, are converted to a bar. So you got a long flight of steps or a lift to get up there, and then it's two literal train carriages, and it's in a city area. I believe it's a great vibe, and I love the thinking of the people who created this space. The only problem I'm going to have is I saw it starts at 6 o'clock and I finish at about five. So by the time I hightail it there, it could be a bit late, but I'd love to try and get there. I have not been to Transcendence and I want to get there.
Yeah, well, I started it at 6 o'clock because I'm a poet at heart, and we need to get to bed before
Yeah.
11:30. So it starts at 6, but last night we basically went until about 11:30. So,
Yeah.
you can really rock up anytime.
Yeah. All right. I'll try to get there next week then and is there parking, handy parking around?
Yeah, yeah, parking's easy around that area. I think after 5 or 6, there's all day parking.
Beautiful. I'll try and juggle some meetings around and try and leave here dead on five or at least before.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and let me know if you want to perform. I'd love to have you read some poetry there.
Oh, mate, no, yeah, definitely. I've got to get there. I've heard so much good things about the vibe of the place. I really got to get there. Like,
Yeah, it's a visionary endeavor that they've embarked upon there for sure.
Mate, there's some great comments there, Days, as you said, that was dope. Love how, and yes, it was engaging and the rhymes were nicely done. So, and this is all impromptu stuff, so, mate, amazing.
Yeah, hey, it's my favorite way to start a weekend is spitting some raps for people. And if I wasn't here, I'd be probably playing at a market, at a farmer's market. Usually my gigs on Saturday morning.
Which markets do you get to?
Man, I've pretty much played, there's a long list of farmers markets,
Yeah.
but Carlton, Alphington, Coburg, Warrandyte, St Andrews, Kinglake, all just wherever they ask me. And recently, because I'm living out in the country at the moment, I've been playing the markets out here. So Whittlesea, Kinglake, St
Yeah.
Andrews. But yeah,
Well, I actually occasionally get out to St Andrews and even the Coburg markets because I live really close to the Latrobe market, so I tend to go there if I want something. But occasionally I do get to Coburg or St Andrews if I'm not playing golf on a Sunday. Oh, mate, yeah, I'll have to keep in touch with you.
yeah, I think I'm playing the Coburg market next week. Next week.
On a Saturday?
Uh-huh.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
I don't have a show next week either, so could get there. So tell me now, besides your writing and performing live events all over, including markets, you're also now getting really involved in hosting and a lot of shows as well, like Transcendence. And were you doing something at Barusu as well last week?
Yeah, I was hosting. I'm kind of having a bit of a trial hosting their open mic on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays. So is
Yeah.
that a new one at Barusu? Because I know about the one on Tuesdays. I used to go to that one quite regularly. Matter of fact, I was there last week, but I didn't know they started one on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, there's one on Wednesday. It's mainly musical. It's mainly there was not I don't think there was a single act that wasn't a musical act, the
Yeah,
last one I hosted.
yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of just like music, open mic, and then it goes into a open jam afterwards.
yeah. Because they do get some good artists at Barusu. I really like that.
Yeah, Barros is an amazing place. My favorite
Yeah,
bar for sure.
yeah. So what's next? You've got a book out? Any other books? Plans for another book? Or
Well, actually, it's actually quite a momentous week for me. I'm feeling extremely light because the album I've been working on, which has been my project for the last year and a half, I kickstarted, crowdfunded an album from the community and was able to get the money to basically move out here to the country and make this debut album of flash poetry music, which is kind of a mix between poetry and hip hop and live band music. And I finished the album about a week ago.
oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm going into the whole promotional phase now of doing all the things that you need to do. There's a lot of admin that goes with launching an album, preparing to launch, all the merch and all the things that happen. But on a creative level, the last year and a half of my life has been just taken up pretty much singularly by this one project.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a huge, like, I've been doing this full time for a year and a half, and yeah, it was, it took a lot. It took a lot, like anything, like any
Oh,
big project.
I bet. I mean, I've never released an album, but I'd imagine, yeah, there'll be endless work. It was bad enough with the book, all the endless editing and so forth.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what it's like with an album and the time in studios and this, that, and the other, trying to get perfect recordings and so forth. Also, I admire your discipline as well because when you got something and you say, okay, I'm going to work on this, and then something else comes up. A person in the room here would be laughing at this because like I had nothing planned for this weekend, and I was just going to do it because the last few weekends were busy. And but part of my mind was thinking, oh, I'll get these things out of the way in case
Right.
this phone call comes or this comes up, and I can go
Yeah.
to that. Blah 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 blah. So that discipline, I think, is important when you are to wake up every morning, at least a Monday to Friday or whatever, in between performances, especially if you have a late night. after a
Yeah.
gig. To wake up early the next day and get stuck into that project, that takes discipline. So admire that in you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's I'm actually I feel this sense of it's almost a perfect storm in that the proportion of the challenge of making an album, all on my own. I've got a producer who helps out with a lot of the stuff, but it's a lot on me, and I feel the size and the proportion of the challenge of it
Mm.
is directly proportionate to my passion for it. And
Yeah.
it's like we're meeting, and it's this, insane drive I have. Really, it's just a love of doing it and a belief in the power of my art and art in general. And yeah, it's actually just been a beautiful experience. Like I knew it hasn't been easy. There's been lots of crises along the way. It's just, you're banging your head against the wall. I think with all art projects, for me anyway, it doesn't really flow so easily. It actually takes just chipping and just like days of banging your head. No, nothing. Then you smash through the wall and there's another wall. And that's for me, that's the process.
I don't know. I've never met an artist who.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do this project. Oh, hello, I've done this project and it was smooth sailing. I don't think I've met anybody, mate. I don't think I've encountered anything in life that has gone smoothly.
No, and isn't that the great? I'm sure you've learned this. It's just, everything. Actually the Chinese proverb. This is always resonated with me. It says in the 1,000 mile march, mile 900 is halfway.
Yep, 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 exactly.
That's pretty much how I feel about everything that's worthwhile in life.
Yes, yes, and besides the success of the project, your growth through that journey is phenomenal too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's such
Oh,
a yeah.
you learn so much more about yourself. In my work, I run projects. That's what I do for a living in the IT space, and I've been doing this for a long time. And still, out of every project that I deliver, there's always an outcome of learning
Mm,
in some form of them or other. So yeah, it doesn't change.
no, no, and yeah, it's so exciting. So exciting because now I finished the album, which is just it's the biggest project I've ever done. Like it
Yeah,
is. The book took me more years, but I think it was almost more enjoyable to make in a way. I think for several reasons. The book was really quite fun.
yeah.
Um,
Have you got a book handy to share the cover of it and
I've got
where people can get it, and also the album cover?
this is the book. It's called The Silent World That Won't Stop Talking.
Love the title. And where can
Yeah.
you get that, Nico?
It's on my link tree. There's a site there. So in my bio on Instagram, there'll be like a link tree, and yeah, you can buy it through there.
Yeah. The a note to people overseas, particularly in the US, UK, Canada. Whenever I've had to send my books because people wanted signed copies, the postage has cost more than the books half the time from Australia to Canada, US, UK. So I often try to advise people, like with my books anyway, go to Amazon is cheaper because otherwise the price is doubles up. But anyway, it's
Yeah,
all
for sure.
signed copies from the author. So yeah,
Yeah, that's why I always prefer people to go through my own website that I have set up for selling the books because, I mean, this as an author and someone who's published books, it's the profit margin that you get from selling through Amazon or even selling through a bookstore. Like I've got my book in a few bookstores around the north side. You don't get much money when a book sells. But if they buy it from me directly, I can sign the copy, write them a note, put a flash poetry sticker in there, and I actually earn money from
yeah,
that.
yeah. You certainly don't write published books for that big bank account. That's for sure. You know?
No, that's what people always say. Oh, you should charge more for this, or you should do because I sell my books really actually quite cheap. I usually sell them $25, and half of the profits go to the Fred Hollows Foundation. And people have, often say, oh, you should charge more because there's about 80 poems in the book. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty piece of piece of literature. And I just think, if I wanted to make money, like I wouldn't have become a poet. So
Well, that Fred Hollows Foundation, that's phenomenal, mate, because the Fred Hollows Foundation's been going since I was a kid and
yeah,
taught to kids in third world countries, developing countries, so forth. And they've been doing that for years, the Fred Hollows Foundation. So, yeah, good choice in organisation to contribute to. So, yeah.
yeah, no, I'm really happy. I made that decision a while back, and when I was publishing the book, and I think we're up to almost $4,000 that has been donated just through the sales of this particular book.
Yeah.
So yeah, which feels great.
So when does the album launch and is there a time and place already set up for it? Or
It's all set up. December 13th, at Black Spark, which is a Saturday night. It's the same place I launched my poetry book 4 years ago.
that's Black Spark, it's in Thornbury, correct? Or North?
Yeah, Northcote.
Northcote, yeah. Yeah, okay. I think I went to Slamtidote. The first Slamtidote was held there, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the same place. Yeah, okay. Black Spark.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 13th of December. Yeah, I'll still be in Melbourne then, so definitely try to get to that one, mate.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's gonna be a big event for sure. I think I honestly don't know how many albums I can release in my life because that it almost killed me. And I've been doing nothing else but making this album, and it's just yeah, it's I feel like wow, this is gonna be another one of those moments, another one of those evenings that is gonna I'll remember forever, I'm sure.
Makes you admire people who've got 20, 30 albums out.
No, I know.
One
Um,
of the guys that I totally admire, I don't know if you heard his music, it was Van Morrison.
yeah, yeah,
He was cutting music before the Beatles, and his last album was probably a couple of Christmases, 2 or 3 Christmas ago. Released the most recent album from the time of the Beatles, mate. From before the Beatles, he cut his first. He was playing in gigs.
yeah.
Um, absolutely blows my mind.
It's incredible. I feel that way about so many artists. Nick Cave is another one who's just released, probably 20 or 30 albums of
Yeah,
music.
yeah,
And yeah, now these people, and Nick Cave in particular, just knowing his story, he has the militant belief that his art anyway, should be done as if it was an office job, and 9 to 5 every week, he literally sits at his desk and just writes.
yeah, yeah. You got to, you got to.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
And that's the discipline I was talking about before, and I admire you for doing that. Like you decided to get off the mainstream work line, and commit yourself to the art. But then, what? It's like running your own business, right? If you don't have that discipline, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because yeah, I suppose a lot of people ask me, "Oh, wow, like what you're doing is so cool. You're doing this full time." And there's so many artists out there who would love to be doing that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think probably like most people actually aren't cut out for the lifestyle that brings. Like there's an
yeah,
incredible amount of insecurity, right? You don't really know where the next paycheck is coming from. You
yeah,
don't know in 10 years if this is the kind of enterprise that can scale to something that can support a family.
yeah,
You have none of this security, and every morning you wake up and you could just sit there all day and there would be no consequences, in the moment. Like you don't have a boss, you've got no deadlines, nothing breathing down you, and you have to just set everything for yourself. And so unless there's the passion and the love for it that you have to have, I think, to be able to sustain a career in the arts. And this is something, I'm 3, 4 years in, and very happy to say that, yeah, the fire is roaring. And so I can, it feels right. And, I've had people say to me, like, my brother's always said to me, like, you're going to burn out, as there are times where I'm just like, I'm reading and rapping and writing and doing all these things and making the music, staying up late at night, making my album and sacrificing other parts of my life. My lots of things in my life have gone by the wayside, and it's been an exciting process to learn about myself, that where I think a lot of people would burn out and where I thought I would burn out, I actually haven't burnt out, because I'm an introvert primarily, and being alone and working on these artistic projects is pretty much the height of joy for me. And yeah, I love the idea that, as an artist, there's if someone was to just say, what's your perfect day? What's the best thing that could happen today? It would have nothing to do with flying to some country and skiing down a giant mountain. It's nothing like that. It's simply, oh, I would just go out in the morning, have my journal writing session and write something brilliant. That would be that feeling of writing something that feels, that good art. I love that that's accessible to me pretty much every day. Like every day could be the most exciting day of my life. And that's how I feel about it.
Living the dream on a daily basis, that's got to be good.
Yeah, it's good for your health for sure, for sure. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work, and I've made, yeah, lots of sacrifices. I think, like you talk about Van Morrison, you can't imagine what his relationships must have suffered, right, to make that much music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And one of the things with him, all his albums were done with uh, different session bands. So all his albums sounded different. He didn't play with the same band for any albums. It was always
right.
the band, so kept it fresh.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great thing to do, because
Which on
yeah, I
its own
wonder.
is a challenge on its own, right? You got to know your musos, your team. Right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's important, I think, to continue to follow what is the curiosity of that year or that moment that you're in, because it keeps the fire going for sure.
So, do you want to show what would you like to go on to next? Do you want to share some more?
I'll read a poem from my
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Let's see, I've got a couple bookmarked here. This is one I have shared. This is one that, the book, there's many poems in there. They kind of range from satirical to irreverent to heartfelt. And this particular poem is, I remember I wrote it in one go, which is very rare for me. I'm very much an editor before a writer. I feel like editing is actually where I shine, because, yeah, I kind of like the process of dissecting and yeah, and it's a great skill to have. It I was working as a copywriter, copy editor. A lot of my work was looking at something and just saying, is this good? How do I make it better? This particular poem was one that it was a feeling that I was feeling at the time, and it just came out, and I read it back, and it's not particularly verbose, or it doesn't have these, particularly memorable images necessarily, but it seems to retain the feeling that I felt at the time. And it 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 centers around the idea of the modern age just over inundating us with options and with choice and with freedom, and that being sort of the foundation of our time is built on this notion that freedom is a good thing, and freedom is something that everyone wants, and it is, and I love my freedom, and yet there's a price to pay. There are the chains of freedom, and there's a burden that comes with choice.
100%.
And yeah, this is about that. So this is called But One Life. Awoke the sound of rain, and barely an ounce of fight within. In the ashtray, the smoldered remains of moments seized, and the stubbed out luxury of not having to think for myself. Awoke to the morning struggling to renew itself, and with a dullness in my bones, I wonder if the future really needs us as much as we think it does. I wonder if the future really needs us as much as we think it does. Sometimes beauty and meaning are nowhere to be found. Sometimes life delivers both all at once. This morning I awoke, burdened by the weight of all the things my life could be, and for a moment was overcome by panic, a steep dread, and the looming regret that I have but one life to try with.
Man, that is so potent and so real, right? That's one could meditate on those, just sit there in inner reflection on many of those lines in that piece. Very powerful piece.
Yeah, thank you. What does that bring up for you while you're listening to it?
Man, I can so relate to that in the sense that the number over my many years of living, the number of times I wake up and ask myself, what do I want out of today? What
Right.
makes me happy? Things
Mm,
that made me happy years ago that today is just something a day in passing.
yeah.
What is happiness to me? What is that joy? And just with a friend yesterday, I was messaging who's in this room right now. And I lived a very free life. I traveled around this country for 10 years on a motorbike, living with the wind. And sometimes there were no human beings for 200 miles from me.
Yeah, wow.
And that kind of freedom, but everything comes at a price. And I know the price. I said those exact words to her in our conversation,
Mm,
that the price you pay with freedom, while it's great to be free and live your life the way you want, some of the scars remain,
mm,
and the many tears that were shed, you know,
mm,
through that cost of freedom, the amount of hellos and goodbyes,
mm,
the amount of burying people in the ground, all for the price of that freedom. So the so many lines in there was taking me back in my own journey and conversations that I even had just last night with people
yeah.
in a chat.
Yeah. And it's this, yeah, I remember having this feeling when I was younger and when I didn't know what my life was gonna be. I felt so excited and so inspired, but in all these directions that I didn't know what to pursue, and now I'm so much clearer and things have simplified a lot for me. Like I know I can see the path, but for a lot of young people, and I think perpetually for artists, there's this feeling of what's next? What is this all about? I still haven't figured it out. And I remember the feeling of that being a feeling of dread that really I've only got one life. There's not enough time to do nearly the things I'd love to do. Like there's so many things that I used to be passionate about that I have just completely given up and may never do again.
Mm, mm.
And
I mean, yeah.
yeah, that was always kind of this beautiful, tragic feeling of wow, like this life it just demands the depth of so much.
So you said you're now at quite in a good place, that peaceful sort of place. That's amazing because to me, my life, still the way I live my life, I got no idea
Yeah,
what the end of today is going to bring. I could not. I'd like to tell you that as I planned, I'm going to have a quiet weekend and I'm going to be want to do some work in the garden after the show and a bit of shopping and blah blah and chill. But I cannot put my hand on my heart and say exactly what I'm going to do because anything could happen today, and
yeah,
I don't know what tomorrow brings.
no,
Uh,
yeah, and yeah, it's I gotta say, I am absolutely just bewildered by the state I've been in for the last 4 months or so. It's probably really been sinking in because yeah, it's such a strange place for me to be, to not feel like I feel like the ground beneath me is more solid than it's ever been.
That's really good. That's
And
really
I can't believe it. I'm all, I've had so many issues in the past. I've had health issues, family stuff, whatever crisis is about, what I'm doing in life. And yeah, so I'm definitely in a place of, I would say connecting my relationship with spirituality and with God has really been a big theme of the last few months because I feel that there is this trust that I've never had before. Honestly, my entire life I've never had the level of trust that I have now. And maybe it's getting older. Maybe it's just like, I turned 30 last year, turning 31 in a month's time. And there's something in me that's shifting into gear. Yeah, I'm astounded. I have nothing else to say other than like, wow. It,
that is so refreshing to hear, mate. And glad you found that solid foundation to stand on. That's really good because
yeah,
I'm twice your age, man, and trust me, I am still. I'm as like a kite in the wind without a string, mate. Like I've got my own place, so I don't need to worry about a roof on my head. I've got
yeah,
a, and I'm set up like I could probably not work the rest of my life or whatever. I'm probably in a good place, but still,
yeah,
I can honestly tell you, next year I might not even be here. I might be in some other corner of the world living.
yeah,
That's how transient I am.
yeah, and yeah, and
I'm more than twice your age.
but you know what? I can imagine that I touch wood, and I will touch wood because I'm becoming more superstitious by the day. But I really feel like, yeah, this period I'm in, it can't last. Like a period of peace, it's there's a line in my book, and it's something along the lines of, a golden age is always ending right before your eyes. You'll never know what a golden age is because it will end before you realize it was the golden age. And I'm doing my best to recognize that this is a golden age. I'm living out in the country with my partner. I'm getting to do this all the time, full time. Things are happening. People are, I'm making waves in the way that I want to be. And yeah, I can only imagine what existential crisis is around the corner. But for now, it's not broken, and so I've got my goal. I've got the thing I'm charging towards, and yeah, I feel this need actually to, it's a strange one, to actually block out a lot of the noise and to just stay on this task that I'm doing because yeah, it's not time for me. I really don't feel like I need a creative rebirth or anything right now. I still have the integration from my last creative rebirth to finish. And so I'm kind of, yeah, just living out the actual meat of the journey.
Mate, enjoy each passage for what don't you learn what you can from the past and let it go. Don't that you can't
Mm.
change that. Other than the only thing of value from the past is what lessons you can take from it into today. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, man. Live this. As Erica Floyd just said, you're a baby, mate.
I
30.
know.
My son is nearly your age. He's
Yeah.
borderline nine, right? And enjoy today because there's a hell of a lot more to go. But it's so good that this part at this point in time, doesn't matter what tomorrow happens, what 6 months or 6 years, but at this point in time, you feel you're standing on solid ground, things are falling into place. Keep believing what you're doing, man, and just do it and just carry on. Enjoy it for the moment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's being out in the country, I moved out here probably eight-ish months ago.
Yeah,
That really it makes it, conducive to that enjoyment, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, living in the city before for me, there's charm to the city, but I always felt, I think, when I was living in an urban environment, to put it bluntly, like I felt like I wasn't worshiping life
Yeah,
itself.
yeah,
There was this relationship I had with life that was, there was a gauze between us, between the real experience of life. And for me, that's the energy of, it's the noise and the traffic and the energy of, oh, there's an event down the road and there's this happening and then there's this some lady yelling at you on the street and there's just all of this stuff that is in your mind. And yeah, I'm so blessed to come out here. I'll show you. I'll give you a quick. Got the window closed, but this is like outside my window is just.
Oh man, phenomenal. I used to come out that way and play golf at Hune at the Whittlesea Golf Course at
Oh,
Hune.
that's literally that's a stone's throw from where I am.
Yeah, I've played on that course many times. I'll get out there with friends under Whittlesea and at Hugh and Will, and that picture you saw, folks, of from his window, that is exactly what it's like. It's stunning. It's you look out and you feel like, and while it's in the country, you're still probably only about 40, 45 minutes drive from the city centre.
Yeah,
An
for
hour,
sure.
an hour maximum, but generally about 45 minutes drive. So if there was an event in the city, you can get to easy, and yet you're in this fresh air and open freedom there. Yeah, great choice of place, mate. It's a good place to hang out. Now, one of the things I enjoyed in doing this show, as I said, it's all about my featured guests, but what I enjoy personally, particularly with authentic artists whose uh, Erica Floyd saying she wants to come out there, but she's scared of those woodland creatures. Don't worry, Erica, you come out here. I will personally escort you and assure your safety. And I'm a man who's lived in the middle of nowhere with no human beings for 200 miles around me, and I've survived. I will personally escort you and send you back on a plane safely. So you just buy that ticket. I know you've just got your new passport as well. So what I was saying was, I, especially people who I really trust, people on this show that I invite are people who I find authentic in their work, right? Otherwise, those are, I hand select the guests that I've featured, and the show's been going for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
Pretty much hardly anybody has been in a second time, so I've been fortunate to find these good artists. But what I like to know, like I can go to an open mic event and I can hear your work and listen to your work and appreciate it and go home. But what I like on the show, and in this last hour, I've been able to understand more about Nico Lim. Where does he come from? What are his drivers? What does he do? And
Mm.
that to me, I find in understanding the person's views to life, where they came from, their past journey to what their plans are, how their mind works, gives me another
Mm.
perspective of their work as well. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I appreciate that poem you read to me after this our chat means more than if I'd heard it before.
Right.
Not, like because I can see where it's coming from as well, right? And then I appreciate um, the view or the point of origin of that piece, the source of the origin of that piece. I really appreciate.
Yeah. Definitely. And even this long form, most of the interviews I've done has been super short interviews. And yeah, I feel that's really lacking in just culture in general. We want everything bite-sized and you never really get to learn. You never get to sit in the humanness of a connection and see it.
I never have pre-prepared questions, everything, mate. It's just me saying, okay, here's the road. You
Yeah.
drive,
For
tell
sure.
me you
And
want to go.
I'm sure when you get two poets together, I'm sure you don't have to worry about the lack of the lack of conversation.
Yeah, true, true. Mate, we've been going for nearly about just over halfway mark. So, do you want to just share some of your work and just showcase to people the diversity and the variety and the talents you got between the freestyle, between your music, between the poetry? Feel free to share as much.
Yeah.
I want you to showcase to this world in these couple of hours everything about you that you want to.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, look, Bet, I'd love to do it on the freestyle. They're always fun. So we've got all these amazing people who are commenting in the chat. So if anyone wants to throw some topics or words, I would love to, really try and string something together. So you're welcome to suggest anything you like, and I'd love to continue weaving in these themes that we've been talking about, and yeah, maybe share a little more about what life is like for me, really. Oh, thank you so much. Well, continue throwing in your words there, Rainier. If
Where,
you have any topics that come
where
to mind.
is where's MC? Where is that place?
Uh, at the MC, I actually have no idea. These days I'm rapping everywhere, so I just
The
uh,
everyday people from a days.
all
Now,
right, everyday
a days
people.
Nigeria, so this is how far the audience reaches, mate. Anywhere in the globe could be watching this show. So Adaze is in the room every week. Support. She's been on the featured on the show, and she's actually from Nigeria, a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Oh, look at that. Melbourne Central. I remember you. Hey, lads. I was rapping at said Melbourne Central, just creating an absolute scene there. I was busking and, was doing some filming and I'll tell you a story about that afterwards. I had a very, tell you what, when you go into the city and you start freestyle rapping, like at Flinders Station, you're gonna get a rich experience, that's for sure. You're gonna get
Whenever I go into client's office, I go through Flinders Station, and my old office was on the 37th floor at the Me Bank building in Melbourne Central. Yeah, I was
oh
up.
wow.
I was so. Well, you've got a few words there. Adaze has thrown everyday people. Butterfly Me has thrown transcendental. Um, yeah, so
All right, let's do this. Okay, everyday people, transcendental, Melbourne Central. All right, let's see what we got. We're here with Rainier, something more than gibberish. Let's begin. Okay, well, another freestyle right on the brink. I'm standing here right now, but where to begin? Well, I got to say I'm skating between bass and the treble. But the other day, while I was rapping at Melbourne Central, see, sometimes I go out there and just stand on a chair. I've got the wind in my hair and I'm feeling aware. I say I can dare to compare, but I say, well, nothing compares to the Australian air when spring is all around. And I'm feeling that I'm grounded, looking left and right, and I'm feeling like I'm astounded. I remember out there while I was feeling rather peaceful. I'm rapping on this chair to the everyday people, and there's people going by, and there's people starting to clap. There's people saying, hey man, this Flash Poetry can rap. And he's saying all of these things, but then something happens. This guy comes up to me and says, it's my turn to rap, man. He says, please give me the microphone. And I was like, oh, I don't really know. See, I've given people my microphone live on the street before, and honestly, I have not always liked what's in store. So anyway, he keeps asking me, and I say, well, right now, yes, I start to freestyle. I start to do this. I'm saying, okay, man, you can have one verse. Please make your music. So I hand this guy the microphone. He grabs it and he starts spitting bars, and honestly, I fell apart. They were misogynistic, violent, and just gruesome. And I was like, oh god, this guy's he's blown up the spot in typical rapper fashion. I was like, this is not the kind of rapping that I like to imagine and put out into the world. And then he starts rapping at my own girl and saying things to her, and I'm like, I cannot stand for this. So I turn him down on the amp, and he's like, bro, did you just turn me down? I was like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, why'd you turn me down? And I was like, I don't really like what you're doing. And then he says to me, we're going to rap battle. And now everyone's around. And he's like, we're going to rap battle. And for me, this is a nightmare. And I say, all right, let's rap battle. I'll go first. He hands me the mic, and then I say, I'm not going to rap battle you. And then I just keep spitting, getting on into it. I've got to say, I'm here and I'm making a bit of music. A little story there from Melbourne Central. Well, I was rapping with everyday people. Got to say, well, I feel sometimes there's good and evil both inside of a mind, inside of every artist, inside of every child. But I'm here to just start this. I'm going back and forth, and I'm feeling like I am changing the strangest day here, and it's all improvisation. So we're seeking and we're thinking, you know, I'm going to medal, get in there today, but I'm feeling transcendental brilliance, expansion. I'm living out in the country. I moved out from the city to a place that is so lovely to come out here and say that everything is beautiful. I'm here today, I'm feeling inspired and mesmerized, and it's suitable. I ask myself what the question might be back and forth today, and I'm feeling like I am on this live stream with rainy air, and I'm blessed to be here. See clear what it means. I'm just conquering my fear through expression. Yes, I am here to just learn the lessons, and so I am here. So thank you very much for just being here in Melbourne and enjoying.
Yes, I can imagine what it's like. You don't know what sort of nutcases you're going to get wrapped
Oh my gosh,
there.
that
But
was a particularly hilarious one.
sometimes you get people, when I go to some of the open mics and I hear people just spitting out just pure anger and venom and on stage, and I'm going, geez, guys, this is not poetry. This is just, I may as well give you a soapbox and go out to the city square and rant your, just let people hear your rant because you're just
Yeah.
killing. Uh, and I'm one of those people that I've got it's a real battle for me to force myself to keep my mouth shut because I'm the kind of guy who just walk up to somebody and go, mate, you're fucking stupid or you're a dickhead, right? And then the fight, I just cannot help myself. It's I've got to really force myself. And
Yeah.
I'm doing that in my old age. In my youth, mate, I just wouldn't even ask questions, going wham, bam, that was it. The So listening to rants, and then sadly in Melbourne, the last 2 years particularly, there's just been so much hate and stuff going on, man. You know, like with things that are happening in other end of the world and all that as well. Like you can deliver your message, but you can deliver it in a professional way, or you can sit there and just really ranting, and it's just.
Mm.
I was at a gig where at Barusu actually, this guy was having a bit of a spit there, and a member of the audience, because there's not everybody that comes to Barusu are part of that open mic gigs. There's people in the beer garden who just come there for a quiet beer. And this person was walking out and he stops mid stage and he turns on this person and he goes, yeah, that's right. If you can't handle it, just walk off, just leave. Mate, this person could have been innocently going home who wasn't even part of the open mic. And really, I had to so struggle to not jump up and go and throw this guy off stage.
Yeah.
But then I know I would have been the bad one because, like, I've really got it's a challenge for me to push that old youth days of youthful, impetuous youth back sometimes and just not go and just physically grab somebody and throw them out. When I see that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
everybody
definitely.
right to be in a space, right?
Absolutely.
Feel safe to walk, to sit, to do whatever they want to do, you know?
Yeah, we're definitely in a place in time where, yeah, tension is high. You know, I
Yeah.
feel that definitely in Melbourne, and I'm very much wanting my art to build bridges
Yeah.
primarily. That is really like a big point of it. Well, you know, this book that I wrote, one of the reviews that I got for it was it makes kind of hippie spiritual people a bit more rational and straight, and it makes straight full-time professional people a little bit more hippie. And
Yeah.
there's this blend there. Yeah, I feel like I'm positioned in this juncture between different worlds, between kind of the spiritual, more conscious hippie community crowd, between the professional world where I used to work, and you know, there is, yeah, I think there's just such, for me, it's an exciting place to be because I love being, I think in the middle my whole life. I've never felt belonging in any particular community in a deep way. You know, I felt it in a casual way, you know, like friendships. But when it comes to, hey, this is my tribe, I honestly don't. I can't say I have a tribe.
Nico, you just said something so profound that is actually wisdom beyond your years, mate. I don't mind who you are, what you want to be. Huh? But what I treasure and value is that you being true to yourself. Like you said, that's person following that hippie, that spiritual path, that out of the mainstream path, still being authentic to themselves and not just condemning or bitter to somebody living down the mainstream path just because they are not being you. There's good in both, right?
Yeah.
And living down the mainstream, not just look at a guy and oh look at that cockroach, like what a living on the fringes of society, right? Forget that. Just look at and hear what this person's saying and what really resonates. Embrace into yourself. What doesn't, yes, you just disregard, but let the person live their life, and that.
Mm,
And so to me, I don't care what you believe in life, what gender you are, what lifestyle you want, whatever. I think I've got friends from every sort of full bloods in the middle of nowhere,
mm,
people, right? Yeah, I'd just listen to them even, right? And everybody has something to offer. But I think that respect, not just judge because they are not you,
yeah.
the cause of many wars, mate, many battles, many discrepancies. If I can accept you the way you are and learn what I can from you, and you can accept me the way I am in my lifestyle, um, then you find that balance. Now, I, on the opposite end of the thing, always in my career wise, I've always lived a very professional life.
Yeah.
I don't belong to any orthodox religion because I don't believe in institutions, but I live a very, very spiritual life within, right? So I've got that balance there. And to find that balance in that spirituality, I did not need to find an alternate lifestyle. I was able to
Mm,
stay mainstream, but not get tainted and corrupted by the materialism in that mainstream life.
yeah.
I live a very, very simple life. I don't luxuries don't mean anything to me, mate. Some of the best foods that I eat is like I enjoy going to Gopal's, the Hare Krishna place in Swanson Street, and getting stuck into some feeds there, right? As opposed to going to a fancy restaurant. I enjoy life for what it is, and quite often I have found the simplicity and the simplistic events in life have given me
Mm,
the memories that I'll never forget.
mm,
And yet I've been brought up and lived in the corporate world all my life.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's great wisdom. There's something about, I think, simplicity and stillness are the two most expensive commodities these days. It's not hard to find. It's not hard to. It is hard, sorry, to really have a moment to either be still or silent or to have some form of simplicity. Because one of my songs, "Every Ism is a Wasm," which is uh, it's been my definitely my most viewed song. If you're watching this, definitely go and check the music video out for that. It's my favorite thing I've created, I think, this year. It's a song about isms, and it's a song about these all the subcultures and all the ways we divide and we draw lines through society to try and make sense of the complexity of the world, and how there is I think one of the big juxtapositions it puts forth is between complexity and between simplicity, and the beauty in both. There is beauty in being the more complexity I think you can tolerate in life, in
Mhm.
terms of different groups of people and the diversity of the world. It is proportionate to the richness of life that you can experience. And yet there are other parts of life that really complexity and options and all of these choices and luxury and status, it can really, I think it convolutes something that doesn't want to be convoluted. That life is just it can. There's something about refining your presence and refining your your vision in life,
Yeah.
and being able to keep things. I think what I'm talking about is just we don't do so well. There's a beautiful quote from Soren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher, and he says, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom."
Yes.
And I feel that so much, especially just living a simple life out here in the country, and just enjoying simple and modest things. And then it's kind of a religious idea, it's a very religious idea that goes
Yeah.
back of this idea of decadence being the devil.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such an unpopular opinion, not only in the rap culture, obviously, particularly in mainstream hip hop culture, where decadence is the god to which everyone is bowing to.
Yeah.
It's an unpopular and maybe an unfashionable belief that really less is more, and that there is a certain, I think there's diminishing returns with pleasure and with luxury and with material goods. And yeah, so I think life is complicated enough, and so I do pretty much most of my life is trying to simplify things.
Yeah. If you feel like performing that piece, mate, you're most welcome to.
I would love to. I'm not sure because it's already released, so I don't know if there's going to be a copyright issue, if there's something that's going to be.
I actually on Instagram I used it as for your promo flyer, so it is on Instagram.
Yeah, I think that potentially could be one of the issues. Like I've done it before, and it has come up on my screen as saying, "Hey, this is a copyrighted track." Like, which
What
is
would it
such.
be like without music? Because it's a music that trips the algorithm.
Yeah, it's the music that trips the algorithm. I could try to share. I'd be interesting just to do it without music.
Yeah, try it.
I'll give it a go. So the chorus, it begins. Oh, I actually might repeat just the. I'll repeat the chorus for you. I'll see how this
Yeah.
goes. I've never done this before. Sick of these isms and schisms inside this city. I'm simply too busy for the labels of the 60s. The commies and the hippies, these people in the movies, these cliches we've been using to draw all our conclusions. When really, it's tricky. To be all that you might be, when the movies and the news feeds keep giving you the easy option to believe these leads that are just too easy. Please, but you must believe me. We can handle complexity. Actually, we were made for it. Have you read the instruction book? Not the one from the government, but the one from the Darwinists. Sure, we can be the tribalist, lying, cheating, conniving, but really, for conscious hominids, nothing's obvious. Homo sapiens, we're the creature nature freed. We're the diaspora forges that is more than a war for genes, and it seems we've been designed with a need to find a tribe, but the black and white of these lines can blind us to the biggest scheme. Think of these isms and schisms inside this city. I'm simply too busy for the labels of the 60s. The commies and the hippies, the people in the movies, these cliches we've been using to draw all our conclusions. Zoomers, boomers, hippies, doomers, youths in suits and loopy truthers, normies, yuppies, gypsies, junkies, bougies, screws and 4chan users, homeless, vagrants, home investors, ravers, pagans, smokers, bogans, stoners, shills and trolls and moguls, politicians, Pentecostals, seedy landlords, greedy renters, Jesus freaks and doomsday preppers, nihilistic, tribalistic, whiny rich kids high on Xanax, Bible bashing, anti-vaxxing, crypto tech bro, cell phone addicts, Jesus acting people, rapping something, us or them. But these isms and these labels, they're not going anywhere. And in some ways, we need them. The problem is that too often they end up being the last word on the matter instead of the first. And we can talk capitalism, socialism, Buddhism, communism, but no matter what you believe, one thing can be said. The universe, at a fundamental level, desires complexity. And the richness of our lives depends on our ability to be with that complexity and to support life in its perennial pushing of the envelope. And that's the next. That's like the first half of the song, and it's there's all this. It's a whole theatrical odyssey, that song. But yeah, it was interesting.
So on your promo flyer, that was I've used that track from the Instagram list. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope people check it out. That's definitely been one of my favorite songs. I've got a song that hasn't been released that's coming out soon that I think I can play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got it here. This is from my album Reality Now, which is the album that's coming out December 13th. And thank you guys for listening. And this one is called Reality Now, and it's the title track. It's the most hip hop song of the album, and it touches on a lot of themes. It touches on, the song begins very briefly recounting the experience that we were speaking about, of me being in a place of doing well as a professional and working in a career centric job, and the loss of innocence that comes with when you get into the world of working and 9 to 5. There's a certain innocence that is lost. And throughout history, human history, I think there has been several points where we have undergone a loss of innocence, whether it's through agriculture or the birth of the Industrial Revolution, or whether it's through this new revolution of AI, which is the ultimate loss of innocence and the ultimate loss of humanity, I think, is this idea of, we have banished God and mocked our myth and domesticated the divine and pushed away these stories and these myths that have held us since time immemorial. And now we are seeking, still there is a hunger for this transcendence, and we're seeking it through merging with machines and with schemes to live forever. And so this song is about the dissonance of the world and of reality now. All right. Remember when the time passed idly and life was just a game? Wonder in the daydream, in the land of the blindly chasing off the pipe dream. But I was just a youth, following the clue, nothing to lose or miss. The youth is wasted on the young like money on the rich. Now, the river's moving quicker and the bills are adding up. Pressure slowly building, so we've got to make a buck. Salary reality, finally living mindlessly. Not really alive, but society's high-fiving me. And so the shadow of humanity gets writ large in our economy, and we are held in its revelry. Well, the road to hell is really quite heavenly. Whole world trying to get rich. Cannibals surprised when they finally get bit. Whole world trying to get rich. Cannibals surprised when they finally get bit. Soul world trying to exit. Cold world trying to get rich. And we're just spinning around, out, bound. It's reality now. Some of us are living solely for our pleasures. Some of us are living hungry for the answers. There are people who obsess over their net worth and never truly like themselves but want to live forever. The tears of a billionaire, the unsung prayers that we cannot bear. So we manage our fears. Jesus Christ, 2 days of the year. The dream is getting bigger and the blare is getting louder. Searching in the screen as we fumble for the words. Pretty in the picture, probably a filter. Resolution sharp until everything is blurred. People getting richer and people on the curb. The coverage improves, but the news is getting worse. So we're drowning it out. Bow down, it's reality now. Whole world trying to get rich. Cannibals surprised when they finally get bit. Whole world trying to get rich. Cannibals surprised when they finally get bit. Soul world trying to exit. Whole world trying to get rich. And so we're joining the cloud. Outbound, it's reality now. We've been walking out upon this land, never really knowing what is ours. for the truth on which we stand. We bit the apple so casual and left home with no map for the road less traveled. Society our myth, reality the trip, and happiness the brand. And we go round and round with the same old mind, and we've been searching in the places where we shine the light, but there is something calling from our past, and there is something calling from the sprawling dark. We bit the apple so casual and left home with no map to find our way back. And so we're joining the cloud, outbound of reality now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing, mate. Amazing. The album, that's a title track from the album. Awesome. Do you have a cover of the album at all, or
I've got. Let me have a look. I should have my T-shirt. I do have it. Here we go. This is on the merch that's being made. Yeah,
Oh wow.
it's yeah. Hopefully you can see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is there's actually, yeah. Please go and check it out. It's all on my Instagram. But that album cover is made by one of the people who's in the chat. Friendly Frequencies is it's a collaboration between Friendly Frequencies and another artist, Jim. And yeah, it's actually like it was a vision that I had in my head, and I knew what I wanted. Loved this idea of looking at the world from like a spaceship, and me just being there and looking at reality as if I was not a part of it, and being there with my microphone in this cockpit and looking at the world. And yeah, the album it's my best attempt to understand the times that we're in both the dissonance and the beauty and the chance for redemption that's always available, to humans.
Mate,
And
congratulations on the launch of the album, and you just hit something that's very dear to me.
yeah.
The best you can at the moment, at this time, and that's all we can be the best you can at this point in time. Tomorrow you might be a better person, but as long as you're doing the best you can today. Yesterday your best might have been very different, but as long as you're doing your best.
Absolutely. And yeah, and that's all we can do right now. I think most people it's a confusing experience. I
Yeah,
think the world is a confusing experience. And so I'm really grateful for this album because the scope and the concept of it is it's pretty large. I have songs that literally begin at the big bang. Like I'm talking about the birth of consciousness and the birth of life.
mm,
Then
mm,
I'm talking about AI in other songs, and it's
mm.
it's it's very much an attempt to understand the long arc of human civilization and consciousness and life. And that has allowed me, or it's forced me rather, to try and figure out what it is I actually, what am I trying to say? I've really had to ask myself that toward the end of the album. What is the manifesto here? What am I trying to say? Is there something I'm trying to say, or am I just painting a picture? And I realized there is, and there is an underlying message throughout the album. And the album is a journey, it goes in order. And the last song is called Reality Now Part 2. And it's a very different take on this song that I just played. The other flip side of it, that's more about, you know, reality, now. And,
Mm.
this is it. And this moment that we're in is really the moment that decides the fate of all time. Everything that has happened in the past has
Yeah,
passed, and
yeah,
everything that is going to be is just a rumor. And all we have is the moment in front of us to decide how the story goes. And so ultimately, I think it's an acknowledgement of where we're at in history, and that we're in a crisis, in a deep existential crisis as human beings, I think, with technology, with politics, with the environment. And ultimately it's an honest look at where I think we're at right now. And it's a call to action to continue looking for the humanity that is hidden between the cracks, because that for me well, it keeps me going, you know. The world's pretty messed up, but you can still live a beautiful and joyful life. And in between these two separate, conflicting realities is for me where the art blossoms.
And through my life, I've seen many eras change, like from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, 90s, everything. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think retaining that humanness through whatever happens in the world out there, I think that's important. Right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then, I love hope. I'm both an optimist and a pessimist at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Hope and faith are two of the faith in yourself and in the universe, and hope that what is happening is exactly what it's meant to be. I think those are two of the strongest tools that we got at our disposal.
definitely, definitely. I'd love to read a poem. I'm sure I have a poem in this
Yeah,
book that
I
speaks
was
to
going to
this.
say, yeah, we've got about 20 or so minutes, so let's
Yep.
get some coffee out, and yeah, that'll be awesome.
Uh okay, this is a poem I've rarely ever read, but it kind of speaks to the wonder that is always there in life that we sometimes have to look for. When I spoke about worshiping life, what does it mean to worship life? Uh for me, yeah, it's often when I go out into nature and I am observing the miracle that is just background noise most of the time. And so this is called The First Time. Knowledge feeds the mind as wonder feeds the soul. And so I keep close and am sustained by that which can be glimpsed in the night sky, by the miracles we depend on but don't understand, the mysterious hidden world of processes that architects mountains and paste sunset never the same twice, that turns water and sunlight into fruit and heartache into music, that lets two beating hearts join to become three, that allows consciousness to arrive in a universe made of matter. Even atoms must be amazed at what they accomplish. Through us, the mystery comes alive. Through us, the universe is given new eyes to see itself for the first time.
Those ending lines, through us the universe has new eyes. That is that is such a profound truth, mate. We are
Yeah,
the consciousness, right? And through your eyes, my eyes, and everybody else's eyes, it's many sensory eyes just feeding that central consciousness, man. That is so powerful.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it's so, I was talking about it last night. I had one of my old friends come out here at the farm, and as me, my friend Kyle, and my partner Carmen, and we're talking about, you know, those moments where you actually feel like you experience something deeply true. And whether it's, whether it's after someone dies, that's often the time when you experience that, there's a rip in the fabric and you see through and you're like, oh, wow. And, psychedelic trips, people have it when they have these ecstatic religious experiences. And we were all talking and sharing about the moments in our lives where we felt like we've been given this gift to peer behind the veil and see something that is really true in a way that is, I'm not talking about political truth or, it's true poetically and
Mhm.
fundamentally.
Mhm.
And it's not something that's easy to describe, but it's something to do with this feeling of realizing that all that hippie stuff, it's all true. It's all
Mhm.
true. Like it's all the hippie bullshit is 100% true. And it's not enough to sustain your life, but it is something to always have there. And the saying that, where we are and where we're going is there's some bigger story. And I feel that I believe that. I believe that I really don't believe that death is something to fear as much as we naturally fear it. And that really, yeah, I said something last night, and I actually, my friend said, "Hey, that's amazing. Like, you got to write that down." And it was this idea of, I've experienced a feeling near close to death, in certain experiences that I've had, and I felt this feeling of coming home, and this feeling of, this is on a high dose of psychedelics in a ceremony in Mexico from this grandmother who gave me, this tea, this ancient tea that they've been drinking, and I really experienced this, and I experienced this with my friend, and it was, it wasn't this crazy, like, up there intoxicated experience. It was just this knowing in my heart that really what we're going back to is our home. And
Mhm.
this part here, us talking and me, sending these emails and being like, oh my God, why is petrol so expensive? That is the hard part. Like, this is the scary part.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen next. And, I want to live a long time. I'm not ready to go, of course, but it is comforting for me to remember that sometimes that, you know, we are drops in an ocean, and we are, yeah.
So grasping that is the key to giving yourself freedom.
Mm,
This is just a day out at school. Your true life is beyond it. That way, you don't live with this fear of losing this physical vessel. I've lived all my life. I lost my old man when I was 12, and since then, I lived like I couldn't give a flying iota if I did not see tomorrow. I never, tomorrow was something so distant to me. So, what
mm,
it did was help me to live today to the fullest.
mm.
And that's because I had no fear of death. I've got no issues if I tomorrow. I've got no fear. I've got no issue at all if I didn't wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah,
So through that, because I'm not even worried about if tomorrow comes, I'll live today to the fullest.
yeah. It's a powerful thing for sure
Yeah.
to remember that.
Now, before I forget, Nico,
Yeah,
I'll be when I post this, I'll share add you as a collaborator, so you can add it to your own page as well if you wish.
yeah.
Secondly, over the next few days or next week or so, I'll create a YouTube video and also a podcast, and I'll share the YouTube and the Spotify links with you. You are most welcome to use them as in any way you want for
Ah,
promoting
beautiful.
anything. So over the next week or so, I'll share the YouTube and the podcast link as well.
Yeah, great. That would be great. I've been doing more stuff on YouTube recently. I've been doing these live streams where I go on YouTube and live stream like this,
Yeah.
and I just freestyle for an hour, and people come on and they give me words and stuff. So yeah, I'd love to collaborate on the YouTube thing as well.
Okay, so let me know if you want. I can even try and send you the raw video after posting it on YouTube. So if you want to put it on your own channel, you can as well. So
Yeah, cool. I think yeah. Well, I'll look into it. There might be a way that we can just have it,
yeah,
both be collaborated on the same video.
yeah. No, that's awesome, mate. Uh, it's been like I've known you now, getting close to a couple of years where we meet at open mics and all that. But in these couple of hours, man, or hour and three quarters, I've got to know so much more of you, and it's been a pleasure. See so much more of you now than the person
Yeah.
they
No,
have.
you too. This is
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I've really, really enjoyed this. This has been definitely one of the most enjoyable interview podcast experiences. It just feels like, we're just trying to figure out and trying to share together.
yeah, mate. No, it's been a pleasure having you. Adays, Tom, Butterfly Me, everybody, Erica, thank you very much for you guys are here faithfully each week and you support the featured guests and you help them give so much of themselves without your comments and all. And today there was even more participation with your words that you gave Nico to freestyle on. Thank you. So, Nico, do you want to take out anything else? So, do you want to tell? So, your book you can get from your link in your bio
Yeah.
on. So it's at underscore flash poetry underscore folks. That's where
Yeah.
you will find this gentleman's page, and his books accessible via the link in there.
Yep.
And album, and it's also available in some bookstores in locally in Melbourne. You said in the northern suburbs.
Yep.
Secondly, you said your album will be launching on the 13th of December, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And there's tickets for that is also in my bio. So that'll be the next big event I'm doing.
Yep, yep, awesome. And meanwhile, I'm going to try to get to Transcendence next Tuesday, is it?
Next Thursday, 23rd of October.
Okay, all right, 23rd. If I, something tells me I've got a event on the 23rd, not a poetry event, just catching up with some with an ex-work colleague that I haven't seen for a while, and his wife's expecting their first baby. They live in the southern suburbs out
Oh yeah.
Bentley way. But if that doesn't go through, I'll try to make this one. Otherwise, I'll make one of the other Thursdays at Transcendence. I've got to get to that venue. I really do.
Yeah, no, it's good. They've got a poetry night happening as well, a specific poetry night, which
Yeah,
you might enjoy.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's me. And yeah, thank you all for being here. There's so many beautiful comments, and thank you, Rainier, for the space. It's so nice to be able to just share with no agenda.
Mate, as I say to people, the featured guests that I invite here, this is only the first time. It's not the last time. So, once maybe in the new year as well, once your album's out as well and things like that, or you got anything else big coming up, another book or whatever you got the door's always open. Tap me on the shoulder and just say, hey, Rainy, I've got this happening. I'd like to come in and just talk about that, and I usually try and schedule people in 2, 3 months ahead. So, when things are happening, just let me know and we can get a slot in there, mate. Or this is a facility just to where people that I believe in and believe in their work, where I can showcase them to a wider audience on a global platform, and that's the whole intention of it, So,
Appreciate it, man.
do you want to take another closing piece, either whichever way you want to go? I don't mind.
Yeah, seeing as we're closing out, I would love to give you guys one more freestyle because that's the most fun
Or
for me.
you probably might be able to fit a freestyle and a poem, maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Well, let's see. I've got a poem that I read often, which is kind of I kind of like a bit of a tongue in cheek, and this
yep.
is called After a Couple of Drinks. And contrary to the name, it was not actually written after a couple of drinks. Darwinian brains, Kardashian times, where everything's fake, but everything's fine. Where we're headed to Mars, and we're betting on doomsday, and your bank is the first to wish you happy birthday. Selling your soul is playing it safe. Generosity is risky and may lower your wage. Hidden agendas enlist the brightest of minds. Supply and demand. These are the times. Civilization is falling, but insisting it's flying. Depressed millionaires and insecure tyrants. We're highly evolved with illusions to match. But whatever your problem, there's a TED Talk for that. Busy is the game, and freedom is the prize. Yet most of us play to the day that we die. But things will be fine. It's not as bad as you think. I, for one, believe in the world after a couple of drinks.
Selling your soul is playing it safe. What a line.
Oh, thank you. All right, let me close this out with I'm just gonna freestyle. If you want to throw words in, you can throw words in. Thank you, Butterfly, in the building. All right, what do we got? Let's see. Let's finish this off.
And I thank you. It's 2 a.m. for you in your part of the world, and you
Oh,
are in this show every week supporting the guests who are amazing. Butterfly, me, thank and Tom's are here every week from. So his Tom is 40, currently 15 hours out. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for coming. Throw your words in, Butterfly, if there's any words you want to throw in. I'm just going to begin and you can start it off. And yeah, I guess there is just a place to begin. I'm here today going out on a limb, looking all around. Yeah, I'm feeling inspired between the left and right sunsets and sunrises. Either way it goes, well, I'm full of surprises. That's the way it goes. I'm a improviser, a freestyle rhymer. I'm going back and forth. Yes, you know, right now, well, we're opening the door. I've got to say, yes, you know, I might say that I'm here today in a beautiful place. In a suitable way, well, I might speak poetry out to the people, and hopefully you know of me. My name is Flash Poetry. I'm in this reality now. Got to say, the galaxy is so loud in my ears. Yes, I feel I'm staying here today, but I've got to be patient, because really, well, I could just stand here, look around in a strange situation. I am just here. I'm a poet, I'm a rapper, and I am just on those good vibrations rotating round and around. Well, it goes here today, and I'm letting you all know. Rainier, thank you for having me on this beautiful, deep, man, lyrical show. And I am here right now, and I'm just singing. Well, I've got to say, it was 2 in the morning. For the people out there, thanks for coming out today. Yes, you know, it was lovely. It's wonderful. I am just here, and I'm really just saying, well, I feel very blessed to be here today and to speak poetry that is coming straight out of the top of my head. And we're looking all around. It's the best reality that I could have hoped for. My soul family exists around me through many different countries. Here I know I am feeling that it is lovely when I'm going past, and you know I'm feeling free. Thank you for all the peeps who came this week to attend on this live stream. Yes, I am here just sipping on my chai tea. Man, I got to say, it's clear. Well, I'm just loving the way that the world is turning, and I'm asking what it might just mean. And I am here right now, and though the forests are burning, you always can find a sense of humanity. Just look between the lines, between the left and the right, the dark and the light. See, there's two sides, it's polarized, and I'm full, and I'm waiting for the sunrise, because when it rises, well, you know it's dawn. I am just here just to ask the question. I'm looking back and forward and opening up the door, and I've got to say, it is all about redemption. Human beings, well, we can change things. We can do this. Yes, you know, it's extraneous, an extraterrestrial situation, and I'm here right now, proud to be Australian, to be on this land, to just sing out my song, to be here and not to wait too long. Because I've got to say, well, you know, I'm in the unknown, and I've got to thank all of the folks who are helping me grow, who are helping me express, who are waiting around there. Yes, you know, I passed the test. I say to myself, well, it's beautiful to be free. My album dropping on December 13th, so come with me, and I will try to show you what it really means to be alive in my mind in 2025, and I'm doing it, kicking all of these bars, and I'm feeling like it is luminous, it's ludicrous, and I'm asking, well, is this heaven or hell? Those two states exist in one plane, and I exist right now, and it's one-way road, and we are going, and I can feel it in my body, in my soul, in my chest. So all I've got to say is I love life, and I'm also looking forward to death.
Good close out, mate. Awesome. Butterfly Days, thank you. Like every week, the audience participation really helps the featured guest to
Oh,
give
for
more.
sure.
But today, particularly, your participation really helped to showcase this man's capability to just think on his feet and retain the the rhythm, and deliver the words. And I see this guy live, and he never ceases to amaze me. So today, having a couple of hours of just Nico, it's been great. Thank you very much to the audience, and Nico, heartfelt thanks, mate, for coming on the show. And as I said, it's only the first time, not the last time, and it's been a pleasure getting to know more of Nico Lim, the person, which gives me a better perspective of your work as well.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
As Butterfly Me says, the energy is real. It
Yeah,
really is, you know. So
100%. Well, thank you again, Rainier. And yeah, I'd love to do this with you again some other time.
For sure. So we'll look for, I'll hopefully see you next Thursday. Otherwise, actually next Tuesday, ends of the worst. If you're going, I'll see you there. I hope you get it.
Right. Yep. I'll try and make it down.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Thank you. Stay safe, stay blessed, folks. And thank you, Nico. Stay safe, brother. And wish you all the very best with the album and everything else you got happening, mate, with your features, with your live performances you're doing, with the shows that you're hosting now regularly and all that as well. Great to see, mate. Great to see.
Appreciate it, brother.
Stay safe, bro.
Take it easy, mate.
Blessings to all.